Okay, so are you thinking about making Fort Myers or Southwest Florida your new home in 2024? Well, one of the things that you're probably doing a lot of research on right now is what the cost of living would be in the Fort Myers area. So today I put together a quick video for you on some different highlighted areas to let you know what the pricing would be for Fort Myers. And of course, real estate is going to be a big one of that. So my name is Feltis, and I get calls from people like you all the time looking to make Southwest Florida their new home, and I love helping those guys. So if you have any questions about real estate, or you would like to just talk to me about anything in general for Fort Myers, you can subscribe to the channel below and shoot me a text, send me an email, or give me a call, and let's talk about your real estate needs. Okay, let's dive right in. So of course, right off the bat, the most expensive thing that you're going to run into in Fort Myers is going to be housing, just like it is anywhere else in the country. One thing that I will say is the cost of homes, which the median sales price is what we typically go off of to compare different areas of the country as far as the price of the properties go. So in Fort Myers, our median sales price is $365,000, and that's for the Fort Myers city. And just to give you an indication, that is around the same price of what the average is for the country. But as far as Florida goes in general, we're considerably lower than a lot of the bigger cities. Like just down south of us, Naples, you're looking at $630,000 for the median sales price. Bonita Springs, which is in between Fort Myers and Naples, is sitting at $582,000. Hollywood, Florida, which is on the other coast, is the highest, and it's at $788,000 for their median sale price. Miami came in at $565,000, and Coral Springs is at $560,000. So with that said, as far as the cost of living for real estate goes, Fort Myers is a pretty good, I won't say bargain, but it's a pretty good price point as far as Florida goes and as far as the country goes, for that matter. So next we're going to jump into utilities, because a lot of people that I've heard say that, you know, the cost of electricity and things like that is very expensive right now. Part of that probably is due to the rebuilding of infrastructure from hurricanes and things like that. But FP&L, which is our electric provider down here, as well as LCEC, which covers Cape Coral, both of those two are the only two providers that we have down here. And right now we're sitting at about 15 cents per kilowatt hour, and that's based off of what I gathered from Florida Power and Light. And the average is 19 cents per kilowatt hour. So if you're looking at, you know, comparing apples to apples in the United States, our kilowatt hours are lower than your utilities that you would have somewhere else. So that's not a bad thing to think about. As far as groceries go, I just looked up on our local Target app to find out what some prices of groceries would be, and right now we're sitting at milk is $3.19 a gallon, loaf of white bread is $2.99, and eggs range anywhere from $1.79 up to $7. You know, they have some of those bougie chickens that are going to be laying the golden eggs evidently, and they're $7 a dozen instead of $1.79 to $2 a dozen. So next up, we're going to have transportation. There's not a whole lot of additional transportation, but we do have buses going through Fort Myers, and they have different routes that you can take, and you're going to have to go into the Letran website to find out what those tracks are and things like that, because they don't go down every street in the city. So you got to make sure that you can get to a bus stop and take that bus to wherever your location is that you're looking at going. So with that said, you can ride the bus. Every time you get on the bus, it's going to cost you $1.50. No matter how far you go, you pay $1.50 to get on the bus and then ride wherever you're going. And they do have buses that go to different locations, so you got to make sure you're on the right numbered bus so that you can go where you're looking to going. So with that said, if your only means of transportation is a bus, instead of spending $1.50 per day, you can do $23 and get you a 31-day pass through Letran as well. If you are a senior citizen or have another way of getting a discounted fare, they're actually half price of the $1.50 per boarding, and it's only 75 cents per boarding to do it that way. Next, in transportation, I would say that cars, the average price for a car, you can buy a car anywhere, on Auto Trader or buy it from a dealership or whatever, and you're probably going to pay about the same price that you would for the car itself. But with that said, insurance is going to be slightly higher in Florida because with the research that I did, I found out that we have more uninsured motorists, which is why our rates are higher. Now, it probably doesn't help any that during Hurricane Ian, with all the flooding that we had, there were several cars that were underwater, so they were completely totaled and had to be removed from the area, and new cars were purchased through the insurance companies. So with that said, I would say that the car insurance right now is, for Fort Myers, the average insurance per year is $2,483, and that's $311 less than the state average. And that, again, we're going to be a little bit higher than other states just because of the amount of uninsured motorists that we have. And as far as entertainment goes, there's tons of things that you can do outside that really don't cost any money. Like, you can go to the beach with your family. Other than the food and the expense of getting to the beach, you don't have to pay. You may have to pay $10 to park or something like that, because they are limited spaces down there that you can park anymore. So you either park in the public parking or underneath the overpass to get down to Fort Myers. They have parking underneath there as well, and then there are different parking lots that you can pay $10 to $20 to park in, depending on which parking lot it is. You can also do water sports, you can paddleboard, you can bicycle. There's a lot of different things that you can do that don't cost you any money whatsoever. But if you want to do something that's going to actually cost a little bit of money, we do have spring training in the spring, which you're going to have the Minnesota Twins and the Boston Red Sox. You can go to one of those games, and it'll probably cost you somewhere around $19 minimum to get in to see a game, and those go up from there depending on where you want to sit at and how close you want to be to home plate. If you want to go to see the Florida Everblades play, you can typically get in the door, and a normal ticket will start at around $12. So hockey's pretty inexpensive to go watch, and it's a couple hours of your time, and probably get a couple of beers or something like that, maybe get some food up in the restaurant and have a great time. If you want to go to concerts, of course, it all depends on who you're going to see and what you're going to watch. I think I saw REO Speedwagon, which is an old rock group. They are going to be in town in the next couple of months, and the tickets starting around $129 for that venue and for that group. You can go to different festivals, like I love going to the Taco Fest and different food festivals that they have. The Everglades has a seafood festival that's not too far from here that you can go check out as well. Usually costs about $10 to get into those, and then you just purchase your food and your beer or whatever it is that you're going to drink while you're there. As far as nightlife goes, the best place to go for downtown or for nightlife would be to go to the downtown River District. There's plenty of restaurants and bars, not really any clubs anymore in that area. So, it all depends on what you're going to do and how much time you want to spend downtown. If you're drinking a lot, drinks are going to be expensive anymore. They start probably $8 to $10 a drink and then go up from there. And healthcare right here is about 4% higher than the national average, which is quite possibly due to the fact that Florida is a state that has older retired people here, so there might be something to do with that as well, but that would probably be in line with what you would typically pay for healthcare. It's about 4% higher than what your national average would be. Next, I came up with childcare, because if you have children, you're going to need to know how much it would cost to put them either into daycare or have a nanny or something like that. So the different ranges for that, I did find a couple of the childcare places that you can get into as little as $85 a week, and that would be for like a pre-K child that's just before they start kindergarten, they require the least amount of effort from the staff. When I say that, they don't have to change diapers and feed by bottle and things like that. So they're a little bit less maintenance for them. So I guess they can charge a little bit less because they're not as hands-on with those kids. The monthly average is around $865 for childcare. But if you decide that you wanted to have a full-time nanny, they're probably going to run you around $52.50 per month. And that's for a full-time nanny that's taking care of your kids from the time they wake up until the time they go to bed. With that said, we're probably about 1% higher than the typical cost of living in the United States to be in Fort Myers, which is not that bad. But when you take the fact that Florida is one of the lowest tax burden places in the United States, we do not pay a state income tax, and most of our state income is derived from real estate transactions through the purchase and sale of those properties. So if you think that the 1% to 2% probably maximum cost of living increase from wherever you're at, depending on where you are, it may even be less, because if your taxes are really high, like in the Northeast or in Chicago or especially in California, what you pay in your property taxes is considerably higher than what we pay for ours. So to offset that, one thing that you're going to be getting is the great climate that we have, sunshine for the better part of the year. You don't have that gray skies like you have in the Midwest. I came from Indiana, so I know that usually from October until April, you don't see much of the sun. It's just gray and blah and slushy and just a real crappy way to live. So I made the move here in 1993 right out of college, and I never looked back, and I don't think that I could go back at this point. And the cost of living, it's not really any different than it is anywhere else. There for a while when COVID hit, rental properties were charging a lot more for rents, but they have since then come down as well. So the rents, if you need to look at renting a place before purchasing, that's not always a bad idea if you're not sure what exactly it is you're looking for. So just wanted to give you a quick overview of what everything would be like purchase price wise for a home and for any other things that you'll be looking at doing down here. So hope that helped you with your process. And if you have any questions about anything, feel free to hit the subscribe button. And again, my name is Kim Feltis. Shoot me a call, send me a text, or send me an email, and let's talk about your real estate needs. Have a great day.